Today we're diving deep in a topic that hits hard, love.
I think too much. I wake up tired and terrified. Started feeling weak.
I know, we're jumping into Hallmark territory here, but these lessons are tried, tested, and unfortunately sometimes painfully discovered. So whether you're in a relationship, you're single, or you're daydreaming about that special somebody. So yeah, here are 10 lessons on love that have literally changed my life for the better, and have made me a better person, that have made me love harder, and more deep, and more real. And I'm so stoked to be able to share these 10 lessons with you. And trust me, you're gonna enjoy them. So lesson 1, self-love as the foundation to all relationships. One, by the way, I'm at this abandoned resort that I found because I was looking for a quiet beach to be able to record, and I came across an abandoned resort. And my bag was in front of me, and a monkey came down and grabbed my bag. So I had to grab the stick and try to stop the monkey. I got my bag back, so that's good. So now, let's get back into it. All right, let's start with the basics, self-love. It sounds a little, what's the word? Self-indulgent, like bubble baths and confetti level of self-care. But when it comes down to it, if you don't have self-love for yourself, it's like filling a bucket with water, but the bucket has holes in it. It's just not possible. So if somebody is loving you, trying to love you, and spreading all this energy and all this love into you, but if you have holes in it, it just leaks out. And that's kind of my analogy on how I feel about self-love and the importance of loving yourself, filling yourself up with that love and that energy, so then when someone loves you, it's received and it's heard, and then you can also give it back. And trust me, when you're confident and you're grounded in who you are, the whole relationship game gets a lot smoother. So go on, treat yourself with that self-love routine, because before you're a we, you gotta be okay with me. Lesson 2, the importance of vulnerability in love. So lesson 2 is about vulnerability, and I know it's scary. Vulnerability feels like showing up to a very nice party in a pajama. But let's be real, vulnerability is like a beach without water. It just doesn't work. When you let your walls down, you're allowing that person to see the real raw version of you. You're giving the chance for that person to really see you. But vulnerability is where the trust starts. And trust me, trust is the secret sauce. Lesson 3, how to communicate with compassion. Communication is huge. When we're talking with our partners, especially when emotions are high, it's important to have compassion and love behind it. And I don't mean speaking in meditative voice and throwing out the word namaste here and there, but it's just speaking with love, speaking with compassion, and understanding the other side, understanding the other person that is there in front of you, that is also a human being, that has wants and needs and values, and that also has a different perception, and that's fine, that's good. But to meet them where they are, to meet them halfway, and to just connect, to have patience. Instead, try listening to understand, don't listen to respond. That has been my biggest growth hack, is listening to listen, not listening to respond. And trust me, just that one right there will save you so many unnecessary arguments. It's wild. All right, you guys want to switch spots? There's so many other spots that we can film. Let's change the area. I'm gonna make sure I grab my bag, because last time my bag was there and the monkey was in this tree and it jumped down and it started grabbing my bag and I had to run. So now I always keep it in front of me. I was recording there, bag in front. I'm gonna go record there. I'm gonna put my bag in front. I'm trying to get comfortable. It's not a comfortable rock. Okay, that's better. How do I look on camera? Doesn't matter. Gotta film anyways. Love trees. So lesson 4 is understanding your partner's needs and love language. So if you haven't heard of love language, I highly recommend it. It's basically a unique way that people like to receive love and also give love. It could be words of affirmations, act of service, or even something that is simple as physical touch. Understanding your partner's love language is like getting that manual for that IKEA cabinet that is very difficult to put together. But with a manual, it's simple. Imagine putting an IKEA cabinet together with no instruction manual. A little bit hard. You'll figure it out eventually, but it's very difficult and the process is difficult. If you throw a manual in it, easy, seamless. So it's kind of like relationships. It just works. People have different ways to give love and show love. People have different ways to receive love. So a good example is my partner, Sarah, my wife. She loves affirmations. She loves when I just say I love you. She loves physical touch, right? Those are 2 of the 5. And those are her 2 number 1 most important things. So before, I used to love her the way that I wanted to be loved. So I would do acts of service, right? I would clean and I would, do acts of service, thinking that that's how she wanted to be loved because that's how I want to be loved. And I'd give her massages and play with her hair and all this stuff. And it didn't bring her any value. Of course, she liked it. She appreciated it, but not as much as simply just saying I love you or giving her a kiss or hugging her. So after a couple of years of finally, it takes time figuring that out, it was just so much easier for me and so much easier for her because now she's being loved the way that she needs to be loved, that she wants to be loved. Love language. Love language is so powerful, so important. There's a book you can buy about it. You can do quick research about it. I highly recommend you do it. There's a quiz you can do that shows you the most important things are for you, and then it shows what the most important things are for your partner by them doing the quiz. So anyways, love language. Good one. And lesson 5, the power of forgiveness in lasting relationships. So nobody's perfect. And in love, you're bound to mess up and your partner is bound to mess up. It's expected. And holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting your partner to get sick from it. If you want to build lasting relationships, learning to forgive and moving on is such an important skill that can be learned and that can be given to the relationship. And remember, we're all human here. So if an anniversary is forgotten or if something is forgotten, just remind them with compassion, remind them with love, and maybe 100 sticky notes on their door so they don't forget again. But again, approach it with love. Lesson 6. The next lesson, we're gonna move locations again. Yeah, I think I got the flow now. Every 3, we move locations. So at number 6, why boundaries create stronger bonds. Yes, even in love, boundaries are essential. They're like fences in your backyard. They keep things healthy and thriving without crossing in somebody else's space. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges that keep respect alive in relationships. We all have different needs and wants and loves and likes. Some people like to do different things. I like to read. For my boundary, it's like, hey, when I'm reading for 30 minutes, just let me read for 30 minutes. No interruption, no questions, no nothing. Just that 30 minutes, just let me read it. And it allows me to give myself some self-love and it allows me to give myself some time for me. So then when I get out of that reading session, because that's what I enjoy, I'm there and I'm able to be fully present with my partner and show up for them. But imagine I'm reading and every couple minutes there's interruption, there's this, there's that. That little me time, that little love you time gets taken away. And then showing up for your partner is just a lot more difficult because you didn't get your own time. And for Sarah, she loves listening to Bollywood music. So when she gets into her Bollywood scene and her Bollywood music, to allow her to enjoy that and to not interrupt and to not say bad comments about it and to not push her away from it and strip her away from what she loves. I would never do such a thing. And that's why boundaries are important. Those are her boundaries. Like, hey, this is what I love. This is what I'm into. Let me love it. Absolutely do it. Okay, lesson 7. That means new location. Let's make it happen. Which is a good thing because as you can see, the water was starting to creep up. It's starting to elevate, so I was about to start getting covered. So where should we go next? I think there's a nice tree over there I saw earlier. Let's go to that tree. Lesson 7, cultivating emotional trust. So this is not necessarily about trusting the other person not to spill your secrets. It's more so trusting the other person that they got your back, even when times get tough. And building this emotional strength with your partner takes time, but it's the bedrock to the foundation of the relationship. Emotional trust is so powerful, and it's something that has changed my life because the first couple of relationships I had, I didn't have that deep emotional trust where when times get tough, they're not going to take the first exit on the left. The reason why I proposed to Sarah is for this exact reason. It's the first time that I've been in a relationship that I feel that when times get tough, she will not leave. She will not take the first exit. I've been in other relationships that it's gotten really tough and really hard, and one of us took the first exit that we could. Maybe there's a reason for that, and I'm grateful for that because I met Sarah and I learned a lot of lessons from that. But with Sarah, when times get tough, none of us want to take the first exit. I know I don't, and I'm really 100% confident I know that she doesn't. And that it doesn't matter how hard it gets, we're there for each other. And I think that is the most powerful thing for a relationship. So to work on that with your partner is, or when you do have a partner, whatever your situation is, to work on that trust where when it gets hard, we don't leave. Life has a lot of ups and a lot of downs, right? That's just the way of life because it's a universal law. Everything around us, quantum physics, we don't have to get into that. But everything has a frequency, everything vibrates, right? Including our 1,000 million neurons inside our body. But it's just like our relationships, our life, our personal life, everything. There's ups and downs. Our partners will have downs, so we need to bring them up to balance. We will have downs and they bring us to balance. Sometimes both partners are on their downs, but when they're both on their downs, you don't take the first exit. You stick through it and the up will come, the balance will come. So that's a very important lesson. In lesson 8, how to resolve conflict with love and patience. Lesson 8 is conflict resolution, but with a twist. Think of conflict resolution, but with love and patience. And I wrote this really good thing I want to say word for word. Instead of throwing in the towel or worse, bring up the infamous, you always do this accusations, try pausing and thinking and saying, how can we solve this as a team? Because remember, your partner is your teammate. You're not in a courtroom. You're not against each other. You're actually teammates. And this is something that Sarah and I, something itchy. This is something that Sarah and I really worked hard on, was to realize that when we get into disagreements or discussions, that we're not against each other. We're on the same team. And sometimes when it gets heated and there's so much passion and love in it, we think that the other person is against us or wants to do something different, but really no, it's just two different perceptions. And to realize that we're actually both on the same team because we've set our goals and our vision for 5-10 years from now, that we're actually all working towards the same goal. We're working towards that 10-year goal. We just work through things differently. And to realize that, hey, let's pause and remember, hey, we're teammates, and remember that we're working towards the same goal. And that's what I've been doing a lot recently, is when we get into disagreements or discussions, not arguments. That's a key word that I don't use anymore. We never get into arguments. They're discussions or they're conversations. It's never an argument, right? Just because you disagree with something, it doesn't make it an argument. So they're disagreement and discussions. So when I get into these discussions, I make sure I tell her and I share with Sarah, hey, we're on the same team. We're aiming for the same goal in 10 years. We're working towards the same goal. We want the same things. But how do we solve the present situation? How do we navigate through this? And sometimes by realizing that we're on the same team, it helps a lot with any disagreements or any conversation. And it's not about winning, because that's another thing. Both Sarah and I are very similar in that. Very competitive. We're both the oldest child in a big family. So we're all about winning and being right, and we're both very stubborn. But the key that we realize that we've been able to navigate through being two very stubborn people and always wanting to win, that it's not about winning. It's about making it work together. And by making it work together means that we're actually both winning, because there's no loser in the situation. So it's very powerful.
Just us two, somewhere new.
In lesson 9, daily practices to strengthen your relationship. So what I realized is relationships aren't a sprint, it's actually a marathon. And those daily little rituals can make a massive difference. The weekly rituals, the monthly rituals, setting rituals in your relationship can make a massive impact on the well-being of the relationship. And a few key things we do is, in the morning, we like to journal together. So we journal together, we meditate, we do our thing, but it could be as simple as having a cup of tea together. That could be a morning ritual where you take that 5-10 minutes and it's just present time. Remember, do not have your phone with you. It's meant to be you and her, you and him. Be very present in that moment. Another thing we do is every week on the Sundays, we reflect on the week. So we do a reflection. We reflect on what has gone well, what has gone wrong. We reflect on, you know what, actually, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share the questions that we ask ourselves. I'm gonna put them On the left, I'm going to put all the questions that we ask ourselves. Pause the video and just read those questions. But these are questions that we go through for no more than 5-10 minutes every Sunday. And we just remind ourselves and reflect on these deep questions. And then once a month, at the end of the month, we do our budget together, right? These are little things that allows us to, one, have a daily present 10 minutes where it's just her and I, no interruptions. That's once a day. Once a week, we have our deep reflection, talk about the good and the bad, right? To keep us aligned on what are we aiming for, what are we working towards. And then once a month, we have our budget conversations to make sure that, okay, are we aligned with our vision? Are we aligned with everything we want to achieve and accomplish in our life, in our journey? And these little rituals make a massive impact. In lesson 10, the last one, the importance of growing together in the relationship. The person you are now isn't the person you're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and so on. And that goes the same for your partner. It's not the same person that they are tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years. We continue to change, evolve for the better, and become different versions of ourselves. So remember, love big, smile big, laugh big, and just have the best time of your life, because unfortunately, there will be a day where that partner is no longer there. And that could be through, the death, because death is a thing. I like to call it the death. We can't avoid it. So that's why it's important to every day embrace it. And that's something I remind myself about is, hey, there'll be a time where my partner is not there. And it's the hardest thing to deal with, but it allows me to be so hyper-focused on her and our love and how amazing our moments are and how present we can be and so on. So remember, growing together is so important, and to support each other, right? Support your partner. If they want to pursue anything that they love and they're passionate about, be there for them. Remember that growing is important. So if that person, being on a self-healing journey is important, but then healing together is even more important. So healing is a personal journey, but then healing together could also be very powerful. And remember that love, like life, is about evolving. Evolve your love with your partner. Have fun. Anyways, this is a really sweet video. I hope you had fun. It is now raining on the beach. So I'm under the tree, so thank God I changed the location. But yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about love and just looking at my last 10 years of relationships and the relationship that I now have, my partner that I've been with her for 5 years. We just got married in July. And just all the discoveries and all the growth that I've been through. I'm 30 now, so I've been through different relationships for the last 15 years. So it's a field and it's a space that fortunately and unfortunately I know a lot about. And it's a very difficult space because this day and age, it's so hard to date. People date for the wrong reasons. And I don't really want to get too deep into that. This video isn't about that. But one thing I can say is date to marry. That is a mindset that I shifted in when I was about 26, 27 is I am no longer just dating to date and dating to meet people and that kind of stuff. I'm not interested in that. I'm dating to marry. And I have these conversations right away. Like when I used to go on dates before I met Sarah was, hey, I'm here to date to marry. And like, if that pushed the person away, good. That person needs to get pushed away. And if I got any bad vibes or any bad energy, it's done. Like I'm dating to marry. And it was strictly, that was my focus. And I think when we shift that focus, it becomes a lot easier because we're living in a culture, in a toxic culture of all these dating apps, like next. As soon as something gets hard, it's like, whatever, I'll download the app and I'll just start swiping and go back on dates. And that culture has destroyed us in terms of relationships because we no longer stick through it. Anyways, I didn't want to rant on about love and relationships. Point of the story is, these are the 10 lessons. Stick to the positive, grow your love, grow yourself, be the best version of yourself, love yourself. Anyways, with love, peace.
To someone new, somewhere new.